Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, but hello and welcome into the RotoWire Esports Show. I'm Andrew Laird, joined as always this week by DFS Chan. We went through that whole slate or today's slate yesterday, and we almost completely forgot to talk about that Africa series. And you were like, "Hold on, we need to talk about Africa." And man, I wish I listened to that more than I did because it was absolutely spot on. And there they were in the optimal today.
Yeah, they were. They scored very well. I think the reason was Africa has been playing well, but also Hanwha, they were trying to play catch up against Africa throughout the whole series. And, I think Hanwha's pace kind of helped Africa to produce more kills there. So, yeah, it's one of those rare states where Africa, an LCK team, is in the optimal lineup. But that's just the, way cookie crumbled today. So.
Do you think it was more about Africa or more about Hanwha that allowed Africa to be in the optimal?
Yeah, probably Hanwha. I think, Africa has been a very good team, but they've also been playing kind of slow. I know Hanwha had a faster pace going into that series this morning. So I think that definitely helped Africa's.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense. I looked at them and I was like, I think I actually played a little Hanwha, and that was a pure disaster. And we move on.
Yeah. Well, I did have a little bit of Hanwha as well, but I did have Africa as my team in my cash lineup. One-off team with I think it was FPX and JDG. So that turned out pretty well today. So
yeah, that definitely sounds like the right way. All right, let's jump into this Thursday slate here. We've got Gen.G and Sandbox, RNG against Rogue Warriors, EDG against Suning, and then T1 against Red Force. I think I know kind of where I should go, and I'm going to hopefully have you convince me that way. But we've got RNG, huge favorites. Not surprising when you're against Rogue Warriors. Pretty much everybody against Rogue Warriors is going to be a big favorite, but when you have a good team against them, it could get ugly. Gen.G favorite over Sandbox, and then T1 and EDG, they're all kind of big favorites on this slate, none bigger than RNG. Is there one we should be targeting over the others?
I would have said EDG, except EDG has been playing kind of slow lately. So I like EDG to win that matchup against Suning, and I think that's probably going to be the most competitive matchup in my opinion.
Okay.
Because Suning has been playing pretty well recently, but even though they were against bad teams. So I think EDG just being the superior team, and I mentioned this to Ethan in my other videos when Suning's on the slates. Suning I feel like they always win against bad teams, but they always lose against good teams. Mm-hmm. I think they are the gatekeeper team this split, kind of like LNG was in the last split.
Yeah.
So I like EDG chances there. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna win. Either 2-0 or 2-1. I think I'm gonna go with 2-0. But yeah, I like that pace, and Suning, has been playing pretty fast as well, so that should help EDG's production and EDG's win, in my opinion.
Okay, enough for a long stack for EDG, or salary wise, it's a little easier. So
exactly, and we talked about this yesterday. Well, you said it yesterday that such a big favorite that RNG is. It might be a lopsided game where they don't have to do much, and also RNG has been in bad form since they came off of that MSI tournament. I know they were quarantined once they came back from Iceland from the MSI and then into China. They were quarantined for 2 weeks, and apparently the rumors were on Twitter. I mean, I don't believe everything on Twitter, but the rumor was that they didn't have good access to the internet while they were quarantined in that hotel or in a cabin. So they didn't really have a chance to scrimmage, and that's why they've been struggling a lot in the first couple series they played in. So yeah, I mean, I think Rogue Warriors would be a really good GPP play, deep GPP play, if you were to take a chance, because of RNG's poor form lately. But obviously, Rogue Warriors is one of the worst teams, like you said, and RNG is the, coming off the MSI championship. So, I have to give edge to RNG, in the other LPL matchup. But, if you were to take a good shot, GPP shot, I think Rogue Warriors would be one.
The worst part about Rogue Warriors is the scattered times that they win. They score so well, and you're just like, every slate after that, you're like, if they win, they could score a lot, and then they just get blasted every time, so it doesn't even matter. But
exactly, yeah, I think this is a get a right spot for RNG after the two struggling series, and. But yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I mean, but if you are willing to, just waste $1 or $2 in a big GPP, it might be worth a shot to take with Rogue Warriors.
Nothing like a dose of Rogue Warriors to get you back on track. Do you have a preference between Gen G and T1 if we're going to look at the LCK series?
Yeah, I like Gen G in this matchup only because Gen G has been a better team, in my opinion, compared to T1 for the split. I know a lot of the LCK experts and a lot of the commentators were saying that Gen G is going to win the split this summer split, and they've been looking really, really solid. I know T1 has looked solid early in the split, but in the last couple of series they kind of struggled a little bit. I think people, other teams have now that have watched that their play style and their tendencies, I think they kind of figured out how T1 likes to play, which is through the bottom lane. So yeah, I mean, I like Gen G, and also this is probably a critical element of my analysis, but Sandbox has a better pace than Nongshim does, and Gen G is playing against Sandbox, and T1's playing against Nongshim. Nongshim tends to play on the slower side compared to Sandbox, so I like Gen G's kill upside there. Even if and they're the bigger odds, they're the bigger favorite. So I like Gen G here, and I like Gen G to score well. I know I don't say that often about an LCK team, often, but I like Gen G in this spot a lot. So
they're also somewhat cheap. Like they're basically cheaper than T1 and EDG, despite being kind of a bigger favorite. They're kind of close, but overall, team slot wise, they're the second most expensive. But all the each lane, they're cheaper than. I think they're actually the cheapest underdog in every lane.
I think that's just because the pricing is also because Gen G hasn't been scoring well in some of their series, some of their games. But I think playing against Sandbox and their up pace, it's going to help Gen G a lot. But on the other side of the matchup, I like Sandbox as a good GPP play. I know they've been in really, really good form. I think they definitely have a decent shot at Gen G. I know the two players I would focus for Sandbox would be Summit and Krakow. I know Krakow, I think I think both of them were in the optimal lineup last time they were on the slate. And they've been scoring pretty well as well. Like I said, they play on the faster side. So yeah, I mean, I think Sandbox would be a decent GPP play. I know Ethan's going to appreciate it if he's watching. But yeah, I like that matchup a lot, and then the EDG versus Suning matchup a lot. So those are the two matchups I think I would focus on.
Do you think that the winner of EDG Suning is the highest scoring team on the slate?
That would be my prediction. Yes.
Okay. So does that make T1 the low owned favorite? Like RNG is just so tough because they're expensive everywhere, and so I guess you could do like an RNG Suning because you're getting an underdog. Although I don't even know if that works because they're so expensive. Let me see here, RNG Suning. Yeah, you can't even get a carry captain with that. So like, I wonder if RNG's high prices actually push people off because they're just so expensive that you have to take either Red Force or Sandbox.
Yeah, I think if you play RNG, I mean, you are probably most likely going to play, one of the, underdogs there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I like EDG. I think in terms of the ownership, I think it's going to be spread out amongst all four favorites today. And that's rare, when two LCK games are on the slate, because I think people like to play T1 and people like to play Gen G.
Totally agree.
Not just because of name recognition, but also because, T1, has been scoring well in their wins. And then Gen G, you're almost, guaranteed that they're going to win just based on the records. I mean, they're undefeated in the split so far. So I think Gen G will be popular for cash games. And then I think T1 will also be popular for cash games as well, because not many people know about Nongshim Red Force. And I guess I can say one more thing about Nongshim Red Force. I think they've been playing well as well. I mean, Genji, Sandbox, T1, Nongshim, all these 4 LCK teams are on the upward, projection that they have been playing really well. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nongshim wins and upsets T1 as well. And they would score well too. So, I think, it's like the ownership's going to be very, distributed across all teams other than Rogue Warriors and Rogue Warriors, I think. So I like, I think this will be a good GPP slate. I mean, for optimal cash contests, I think most people will try to jam in RNG because they are the biggest favorite, and that's what most casual DFS, League of Legends players do. But I like that EDG matchup a lot, and then the Genji matchup. So,
okay. Are there any specific players that you want to target from these teams? Like, who are we building around?
Yeah. So if you follow, EDG, they've been carried by Viper in the AD carry position, so he's a must-have. They put a lot of resources in Viper to carry late game, so I like Viper a lot. And then JJ and Flandre, actually their top laner, he's been playing really well in the last couple series, so I like them a lot. And they're going up against Ben in the top lane for Suning, and then Huan Feng. And Huan Feng, for Suning, I know he's a popular guy and people recognize his name, but I don't know. He's been kind of underwhelming in this split so far, in my opinion. I know in their wins that he gets a lot of carries, but in their losses, he looks really, really bad. And I think he's just gonna be outmatched against Viper. And Viper was the spring splits MVP last split, so he's a good player.
I'm fully one of those people who loves to play Huan Feng. So, but I agree. Like I like EDG on the side. Suning's one of those teams I like when I decide like I'm not playing them is when they tend to do well. So it feels like tomorrow is that slate. But you're right. Like we know that they can beat bad teams and against good ones, and EDG is that good team. Especially if we're going to get tons of fantasy points from whoever the winner is. That seems like a pretty easy one to target.
And for Genji, I like Rascal a lot in their top laner. And as you can see, I mean, the top lane has been very important in this meta, in this split. I know it was an afterthought, in the last split, but yeah, I mean, Rascal, participates in team fights, a lot of team fights for that team. For Genji, they like to group around objectives. That's why they have won so many games so far. They're very good around objectives and team fights, and so I mean they all share a very high kill participation percentage all around the team. So I like Rascal there, and then I like Ruler. Obviously, he carries that team. In late game, he likes to when he plays Ezreal, he likes to scale in the late game, and and he's going up against Prince for Sandbox. I think Sandbox has been good, like I said, but Prince and Effort have been kind of mediocre in my opinion, and they're the weakest link for that team. So I like Ruler and his companion Life in that bottom lane for Genji to focus. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Since we think that the favorites are going to basically split ownership all around, I mean, I guess Rogue Warriors, like I don't even know if they end up being the best leverage spot, because if ownership's not that concentrated on RNG, then it almost doesn't even make it worth it, because they're just so likely to lose. I guess you did mention Sandbox. If you think that they're like, I wonder if, I mean, obviously we don't know exactly at this point, but like if it's a double, if we get 2 underdog wins tomorrow, like Suning Sandbox is probably the highest scoring possibility, right, of the 4.
I'd say so. I like Sandbox's kill upside compared to, let's see, other underdogs like Nongshim, Red Force, and maybe Rogue Warriors. I mean, Rogue Warriors will probably score well, but like you said, if you are eliminating them because of RNG's low ownership, because for leverage reasons, I like Suning and Sandbox, like you said, as the best GPP plays. that are not long shot GPP plays, like you said, like Rogue Warriors. So yeah, I mean, I think those are the two definitely you should focus on for underdogs, over Nongshim Red Force. Yes, for sure.
Do you think Rogue Warriors outscore Sandbox and Suning if all the underdogs win? I know it's a ridiculous question in terms of the underdogs winning, but like,
yeah, I think so. I mean, if Rogue Warriors wins, I think they're gonna score the highest, kind of like how OMG is on some slates. I know OMG has been a very much different team this split, but yeah, if somehow
no, did we lose Chan?
Now Rogue Warriors pulls it off. I think artists. So I like that a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right. If you guys have enjoyed this pretty quick video, if you could please hit the like button below. Feel free to subscribe for all the RotoWire videos to get you content for every sport that we cover, from basketball, baseball, football, soccer. The list goes on. If you're interested in trying a RotoWire subscription, which gets you access to all these cheat sheets that we showed during the videos, just go to rotowire.com/try. That's TRY. Get you 10 free days to the site, no credit card required, as well as access to our subscriber Discord chat, which gets quite lively leading up to these League of Legends slates. Thankfully, Chan is quite active in there answering anybody's questions. So feel free to definitely get in there. Chan, thank you for that. Good luck tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Thank you.